Welcome to Live Pick TV. Today on our biggest show, the political sky. I have visitors here we want to explore on matters to do with the political rhythms that is eating people's mind this morning. And today, maybe my visitors, you introduce yourself.
Okay, should we start from my side or from this side?
Maybe this side, my brother.
Okay, thank you. Me, I'm Owino Trevor, a first year student at Toronto University, taking Bachelor of Arts in Sociology, Criminology, and Community Development.
Myself, I go by Juma Rafael Otieno Buda, a second year student in the School of Arts, Social Science and Business at Toronto University, pursuing a bachelor degree in political science and public administration.
Yes, maybe there's something that is eating Kenya's mind. Kenyans are pondering. The new health system is plagued with glitches and confusions. The recent registrations, we have less than 2.5 million Kenyans registering in the system. So, what are your thoughts in this new health system? Maybe begin with my friend.
Well, let me go first. So, when we talk about Kenya and when we want to discuss about Africa as a continent, we must realize that there are some pertinent issues that have become the key pillars that form how a successive government should run. Number one, we must ensure that we have a health system that is working. Number two, we must ensure that there are schools and education forums to ensure that we have knowledgeable youths and citizens. And number three, we must ensure that our food security is top-notch so that we do not face hunger. So in this context today, by extraction, when we want to discuss about health system, I think it is paramount and very key that we must first focus on the basis and the importance of the health system today. So when we talk about the 2.5 million registration of the Kenyan citizen to the new model of health coverage, I think it is something worth discussing, and as time goes by, I think we shall delve deep into it.
Okay, there's this appointment of three companies, that is Apiero, Convergence, and Safaricom, has drawn to provide digital infrastructure to facilitate this UHC. Kenyans are rational on why there was no public participation in processing this model of health system. What's your take on that?
Okay, thank you. As my brother just said, one of the key things that the government should be looking on or should be working on, or rather the basic thing, one of the things that the government should take a very serious note on is the health sector, knowing that most of us cannot work in a poor health. So talking about the new health system, the UHC, first of all, covering 2.5 million people, with the population in Kenya at the moment more than 49 million people, covering 2.5 million people, I think that's not something nice. Therefore, one of the things that Kenyans should have to know about, to come to realization and know that this thing is worthy. It is the government can only implement this thing successfully only if there is that public participation, not only private institutions or private affairs, but also that public participation. You come to me, I tell you that this is my view on this. Go to my brother Duda, let him tell you this is my view on this. But taking three companies without the public participation, and that public are the people that are going to maybe contribute, the same public are the people that are going to take part in whatever the plans that the government is having. I think lack of public participation, it is going to put this thing into tenterhooks, making it not to be worth or not even helpful to the people of the public.
Yeah, just to add on what he has said, I mean, my brother here, Trevor, said it quite well. And you see, when we fail to engage our youths our citizens in public participation, that is where we see the wrangles that are caused. Yeah, we start seeing people that are objecting. We see associations, movements, and even individuals moving to the court of law challenging the decision. But you see, we must also realize that for the betterment of our country, there are things that just have to be done. See, when they are given these three companies, as I can put it, this to be the key stakeholders in the system, is that because one, these are corporations, yeah, and these corporations, as they are conglomerates, yeah, they have the ability to fund these things, because we understand that the funding, the medical bill and cover in Kenya, the taxpayer money is not even enough. So this is a sort of an investment for a company, so that under a certain period of time, they make an investment out of it. So we want to talk public participation at large, yes, but we must also realize that we must give credit where credit is deserved.
Okay, and do you think Kenyans are well informed about the new health system?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Unless my brother you would like to challenge that.
Because recently it was rolled out. It's an official thing in the country, but the citizens doesn't know the real content of UHC, and it's a multi-billion project. Remember, it will cost 104.8 billion. What's your take on that?
I think one, we must first realize that, you know, when we talk about the UHC, we are seeing it as a foreign animal. Yeah, it is like a turtle duck. These days we rarely see a turtle duck. Yeah, it is like an alien from space. But we must understand that the UHC is something that has been there, and we must realize that the UHC is not only a Kenyan problem, yeah, or rather it's not only a Kenyan issue. It is an issue that has been going all over, because that is what comes from the word universal. Yeah, from the universal health coverage, we understand that countries in Europe, countries in Asia, countries in the Caribbean, and also the North America, which we normally refer to as the United States of America, and of course Canada. These are countries that have employed and are successfully using the UHC. But when it comes to Kenya, as you asked the question, are we informed? Not at all. We are not informed, because think about it. This is something that has been there for 7 years now. It is something that was on and off. But when we want to reintroduce it into Kenya, we started introducing it as NHIF, yeah, National Health Insurance Fund. From NHIF, it shifted to SHIF, Social Health Insurance Fund. From SHIF, it was remodeled again into SHA, Social Health Authority. Now this SHA is what was put in place on Monday. Yeah, it is what is running now. So when we see the 2.5 registered Kenyans, and mark you,
in fact, it's less than 2.5.
It is less than 2.5 million Kenyans.
Yeah.
Remember that, you know, these Kenyans that are registered now, most of them did not do that willingly, because these are people that are in the job market, and people who are in the job market, they must first, you know, when you receive a pay slip, there is, if the company that hires you has a health cover system, they must first enroll you into that. So I think that is what has led to that numbers. But if we want to talk about the knowledge of the SHA, SHIF, and the NHIF and the UHC, I don't think if we are knowledgeable about that.
Okay, talking of the knowledge of the public, I don't think there is any public member who would agree that, you know, the moment you reach 18 years, then it is a must pay, it is a must contribute. That the moment you have 18 years and above, you must contribute to the UHC, despite the fact that you are not anywhere close near the 2.5 or the about 2.5 million registered. So, talking of the knowledgeable state of the public, it is not something that's there, though being that the public will be aware that there is something like the UHC. You know that there are three parts in the UHC. There is that shift that my brother has said. There is a part for chronic and emergencies. Then there is another for primary diseases, just normal diseases. I don't think this public knows that if immediately you reach 18 years, or immediately you get to attain your ID, then you are part and parcel of those contributors. Be it you are registered, not registered, you must, and it is mandatory for everybody 18 years and above to contribute. So I don't think if public knowledge and participation would be there, I don't think this is something that would take place.
Yet, I think we must also give it credit where credit is deserved. As I normally say, we normally love to give critics to the government. But you see, think about this. Ordinarily, when the NHIF used to be there, we used to pay like, what was the amount again? 500 shillings each. But you see, these days they have put it that we pay only 2.5%, right? So that you see, when the NHIF was there, assuming you are earning 5,000 Kenya shillings, in a month you would pay 500 shillings. That is 10%, right? Say I was earning 50,000 Kenya shillings. In a month, according to SHA now, I will be paying, it will be like 2.5% of, no, rather, according to NHIF then, I will be paying like 1%. See? But you see, as per now is that we are paying only 2.5% of our income. Only those who are certified to be registered employees. But those of us who are 18 years and above and are not in the job market, there is a working mechanism that is there to identify us. Yeah, to say that okay, you're 18 years and above. Okay, yes. Then they see how they can make some deductions so that they allow you to work and benefit from the SHA model, because it is something that it is good, although the communication to the public is what is still wanting.
Okay, thank you. And one of the pressing concerns is that it's seeming that the inability of the system to accommodate urban dwellers. The portal appears to automatically select those in upcountry areas in accordance to the information of the National Identification Card. These people dwelling in, and we remember in urban areas there are slums, so it means that people who are unable to cater for some of the health charges. So is this system specializing to certain areas or certain group of people?
I think that is a question of resources, because allocation of resources in our country has been a question of concern. When we want to speak, excuse me, when we want to speak about allocation of resources, we want to imagine that, you know, the SHA, Social Health Authority, you see, when we talk about social amenities, school, medical facilities, and means for public administration, we want to imagine that the regional, or rather the, as you've said, the upcountry side are in some way manner left behind. So SHA wants to focus with these people in the upcountry side, because you find, say, in a ward, yeah, headed by an MCA, we find like we have only 3 dispensaries, yeah, and there are no mental parades, yeah, you know, not mental parades but clinical parades. There are no shows, there are no free screening. So when we want to see that it is focusing on the upcountry side, we are correct to say that. But also let's just be realistic and say, bana, huku town wase wako na nini? Hospitali ziko kila mahali. We are talking about slums. Wenda Madhari. When you are in Madhari, kuna hospitali hapa na hapa na hapa na hapa. If it is not headed by an NGO, it is headed by the CD, by the national government. So I think it is a plus to the upcountry side.
But the main concern is the charges, the cost of health. Like some of the people living in slums are unable, like this system, somebody was saying that something like dialysis, it actually impels somebody to go into his or her own pocket,
but
to fund.
Are we aware that they are covering 80,000, yeah, in dialysis? Yeah, the government has put it in place. I mean, they are covering all sorts of things. It's just that up to now we are not doing cancer screening. We are not doing up to cancer screening. But you see, we are not doing up to cancer screening. But coming next year, there will be cancer screening for all types of cancer, breast, so on and so forth. we must also realize that there is optic screening. Yeah, there'll be there'll be glasses, there'll be optic parades. All these things will be there. So when we want to speak of the effectiveness of it, I think this is just a cry by most of the people who were taking advantage of the NHIF, but they do not want to transgress, or rather not to transgress, yeah, in a manner of speaking, transgress, because surely if you're paying 500 shillings then, and you see people are earning up to 500,000 Kenya shillings, and they are asked to pay 2.5% of their salary into SHA, so they find it quite hard, especially with this economy of ours. But generally speaking, it is not as expensive as we want to put it to seem. Tunaelewa hii serikali yetu iko na wizi wingi, but let us give it them credit where they deserve.
Okay, iko na wizi mingi. Okay,
yeah,
thank you. And on matters to do with the data protection, when you are applying for this ship, there's some information that you are supposed to resurface. Like Kenyans are being worried about resurfacing information like place of origin and the gross income. Is that are Kenyans safe to display such kind of information? Because this is a technological oriented system where anybody can access. Yeah, are Kenyans safe?
Okay, giving your own personal information actually is not something that it's easy to do, but for the betterment of you, for the betterment of our nation, so you'll give your gross income. You have your national ID, you have whatever, you just give everything about, if talking of Trevor, I just give everything of Trevor, place of origin, birth and all that. Kenyans, it is not safe because of how technological Kenyans are at the moment. It is not safe, but again, we have to look at both sides of the coin. Let us look that you're afraid of registering because of your information, but again tomorrow you come again that the 2.5% of the income that maybe you are earning, it's again what you want to use, yet yesterday you were earning and you refused to register. Why did you refuse? Because you had some information that you felt them to be so personal. So it was difficult. But tomorrow again, we are doing things today, but that will not make us regret tomorrow. So giving the information, it is not safe, and even it is not so risky, because we have intelligent people dealing with intelligence affairs. I think we have to look both sides. It is not safe, but again, it is not that risky. But the thing we should be looking at most, however risky, however safe it is, look at, you will need it. Shift, you can cover even your mother back at home. You are working in town, but cover your mom back at home. So you are not doing it for yourself, or even if you are doing it for yourself, then it is for your own good. I think it is not safe, but again, not that bad. It can just be done.
Well, my brother here is lukewarm, but according to me, you see, I want to support it. It is very safe actually, because one, if you're worried about your information being leaked, it is because number one, you are so confidential that things that you are doing is either you are working under a government agency that is secretive, you don't want your information to be disclosed, but of course there are some benefits that come along with working in the government secretive agencies. That is one. Number two, you are corrupt. Yeah, you do not want your information to be leaked. And number three, you are on the run. Yeah, you are a fugitive. There is something that you've done against the state that you do not want things to be there. Because think about this. I mean, the reason as to why African countries are still lagging behind, especially when it comes to fight on terror, corruption and terrorism, all these things, yeah, is because our national databases are not there. So that when I go to Google and search, say, Juma Rafaduda, you'll only find feedbacks from, say, my TikTok account and my Facebook account, and perhaps if I was featured, say, in a magazine or so on and so forth. But we do not have our own portfolios at national and even international data banks. Think about this. In the United States of America and these other countries that are, what do you call them, that are well developed, their national databases have information about citizens. That is why, as he has said, uko tao madhe ako shags, wewe unamcover, you know, hiyo information umepatiana ndio inasaidia na kufanya hivyo, unapata. So what I'm trying to say, let us just be rational, give out the information that is needed. Kama wewe ni unafanya sarakasi nyingi hapa pale, ukipatikana zako za mwizi 40 zitakuwa zimefika, but hivyo tu ndio mimi naweza kukuambia. But it is very safe because we have cyber protocols that are against cyber crime and cyber bullying. So, and plus, these are information that you give out daily. Applying for a job, you write your ID number. Yeah, unaulizwa uliwahi fanya kazi wapi? When you are applying to campus, is any of your relative in campus? So these are just information that we give on daily basis. But when it comes to something that will help us, mbona inataka kuleta siasa nyingi?
Okay, thank you. There are these two key people. This Adil Hawanja Adaniman and Mwende Gatabag. These are the people. These are among the key people who will be running this process. And Adil Hawanja is this Adaniman who is a close friend to William Samoei Ruto. Gatabaki Mwende was once serving as the ICT manager in the Tea Development Agency, and she is the spouse to David Ndii. David Ndii is the economic advisor of the president, who is a close friend to the president. Is this UHC process going to benefit meant to benefit some individuals, or what's your take on this, the stakeholder of this UHC?
Well, when you sit in a room of say 10 people, and all of you are that timid that nobody can come out with an idea, I think you are in the wrong room. Because when you are in a room where somebody cannot articulate his problems, cannot come up with ideas, then I want to imagine that you are in the wrong room. Because think about it, David Ndii is not a figure that we come to learn of today or yesterday. No, he is somebody who has been there. And as I normally say, tupatiane heshima pale ambapo heshima inatakikana. Because he is somebody who has built his career from making deals hapa na pale. So when we talk about them at being the key beneficiaries here, fine, they are. But you see, they are the ones who came up with these proposals. And as we mentioned last times about the PPPs and the PIPs and the PPIs, there just has to be somebody who comes up with the idea. Although what they could have done...
But this UHC agenda was among the agendas of Kenya Kwanza government during the campaign. But so we cannot say it's someone's idea.
No, it is an idea, because when we want to draft a manifesto, we come up as a team of analysts. They go around the country asking the people of Kenya, what do you want us to do for you when we are there in power? Wanasema, health cover yetu iko chini. So they come, they sit and draft. And just to give credit to the Kenya Kwanza government, in as much as wanafanya kazi venye wanapenda these days, they have been working. Rather, the UHC is something that has been there before. It's just that they came to its implementation today. Because think about it, 2 years ago, William Samoei Ruto scrapped off Linda Mama. Today it is there in SHA. Yeah. So this is not something that tunasema it is a competition for resources ama nani ata benefit sana. No, it is just something yenye tunafanya tukiangalia the betterment of Kenya, in as much as obviously watu watakula. Ama namna gani, my friend?
Yeah, you know, even if they act as stakeholders, they are doing it. You have just mentioned two people. Mentioning two people, earlier you had mentioned about 2.5 M people. So let us look at a bigger picture.
Exactly.
What natural psychology says.
Yeah.
Let us just stop thinking just
Within the box.
Within
Let
the
us not
box.
confine
But
ourselves
the
within the
concern
box.
is these two. Why are there any other IT professionals that
Yeah, because
because these are key allies of the president.
Yeah, you see, our Kenya Tech Hub is great. Yeah, we have very many IT personnel, in as much as they are quite allied to the president. Because see, any presidential system, yeah, from independence to now, and this is the same to all these other countries in the one that practice democracy. There is what we call a presidential legacy. Atawacha nini akitoka. So this is one of them. Affordable housing is one of them. Yeah, jobs ngambo is one of them. Na vitu vingi isipokuwa kutenga na kupanga. But otherwise hizo zingine, I think he's just doing well.
Well, okay, now thank you. That's all on matters to do with the UHC. I know Kenyans are now aware of what is happening.
Yeah.
I know there's so many questions being asked about the UHC, but with the time in live TV we shall be able to provide such information. Now, this looming impeachment. The deputy president has been having a worse week as a politician. And we have seen earlier on Tuesday morning, the president met UDA legislatures before the impeachment motion to be tabled. Do you think the president was trying to dissuade his allies from the ouster bid?
It's a tough question. Okay. When we are talking about Rigathy Gachagua,
because we suffered that there's a certain MP who was saying that the president should actually shun away from this motion because he cannot save them.
When we talk about our legislatures, we want to imagine that they are working under the Constitution of Kenya. And when we talk about the Constitution of Kenya, there is what we call separation of power. There is a doctrine of separation of power, both at the national level and at the international level. When you talk about the doctrine of separation of powers, there is what we call the independence of the judiciary. There is what we call the parliamentary supremacy. And judging from the parliamentary supremacy, the National Assembly as the major house in the parliament, you know, the parliament is made up of the Senate and the National Assembly. The National Assembly being the major house, I think it is effective and it is free from any intervention from the executive. So just to say it, I don't think the president is the one behind this looming impeachment process that is still going on. Yeah.
But I've seen the deputy president actually pointing fingers at the president. Maybe he's the main insider, because you know the deputy is also the head, the principal of UDA, and this impeachment motion is being fueled by the UDA MPs. Do you think this can happen without the consent of the president? Trevor.
Okay. Talking of the consent of the president, first you should learn how to move with trends. President is not even involved in the impeachment of his DP, knowing that the other day the guy who tabled the impeachment motion of the deputy president is this great MP of Kibwezi West, that is Honorable Mwengi. This is the guy who was behind it, and even went up to those MPs gathering votes of confidence of these people to find how this deputy president is going to be impeached. And you will find it to be successful because it is always more than two-thirds of the parliament occupiers to vote yes for the impeachment. But you find that after this person going out, you find 289 MPs out of 349 voting yes for impeachment. I don't think the president is anywhere close. You'll point the president obvious, because of late something has erupted between, some issues have erupted between the DP and the president. I think that's the main reason why every person thinks that the president is behind it. Another thing, the DP has been talking of the shareholders. So I think the main thing raising this something like conflict between the two allies is this thing where the great Baba finds himself in the government, and this is something that has been there during the times of Uhuru. Baba came in, something erupted between Ruto and the president by then. Now Baba is in, something has again erupted between Ruto and the DP at now. So I don't think the president is anywhere close, but it is something that Kenya should understand, that DP is someone very key and very one of the great people, actually the immediate follower of the president. And without him, I don't think even the advisors are there, but DP does more than the advisors do.
But these critics to the DP, such as talking about shareholders, now they're claiming that he acquired hotels, companies illegally. These things were being done when he was still a darling to the government, and no alarm was raised. But now, because there have been differences, wrangles in the government, now the alarm is raised. What's your take on that? Is it a symbol that there are so many evil things happening in the government and people are quiet?
Okay, for now, me and my friend Rafa, we are very good friends. But let something even smaller rise between us, then you will know every negative thing that Aduda does. Even those that are not there, they'll be there.
Sure.
And I'll use every means to make you people believe.
Well, let me yes.
This is, you are running a government. You're not running your own house. When you're running a government, it means you are operating within the framework of the resources
But you
given,
see,
provided by the people of Kenya.
But let us talk politics. Yeah, basic definition. What is politics? Politics is who gets what, when, and where. Exactly. What, when, and where. Now, the question does not arise too much at where. No, the question is at what, right? So wakati tunasema he acquired these things when he was a darling to the president and now he is not, they are pointing out things that he acquired. I would like to say in the famous Swahili saying, nyani haoni, I will not finish. Yeah, nyani haoni, right? That is one. Number two, when you are there and you are eating that much, right? I'll also refer it to a Swahili saying, mwenye shibe hamjui mwenye njaa. Correct? Now, there is no way that we shall say that his at the motion is being nini by those who do not want him. Okay, fine. There are those who do not want him from the UDA, because I was listening to the members of parliament from the Mount Kenya region, especially those who are aligned to the deputy president. They were saying when the UDA was coming, when the UDA was on its forming itself as a coalition, Ruto was the chief principal there, right? And he was the presidential candidate. When it was time for him to choose a running mate, there were those who preferred, there were so many people, yeah? Ndili Nyoro, there is this woman, no, not Anna Yaguru. There was this, alikuwa nasumbua, tulisumbua wengine alikuwa pale parliament. Yeah? There was Rigathi Gachagua and there was Kithure Kindiki. Those were the four people. But they ruled the two out to Kabaki na Kindiki na Gachagua. They are saying that they had 3 consecutive meetings and they never agreed. And the president saw that if we give these people, if I choose somebody if I choose somebody who is more inclined to them, then I'll have a trouble running my government. That is why wanasema Rigathi Gachagua was like the flower girl. Unapata? Because he was not the preferred candidate to become to be the deputy, to be the running mate for William Ruto. No, he was not. And that is why you see even Kithure Kindiki akaendanga akasema mimi nimechoka na siasa. He took a mental pause kidogo from politics, but then he saw bado nitakula tu kwa hii serikali. So that is why he came back. Unapata? So the deputy president, I think we should give him credit because he is a key factor. And when we talk about impeachment of the deputy president, I think kama wamekula, as I've said, nyani yao ni kundule, yeah? Rais, we know him for quite some time now. There are many sagas that I can link him to, but for the respect that I have to my country, Kenya, and for the respect that I have for the protection of the constitution and the democracy of our republic, I will not mention it on live air. So, hii siasa nyingi tuache. If we are going to impeach him, let us impeach him on the fair grounds. And just something that the citizens should imagine and should know. When you talk about impeachment is different from removal from office. Impeachment is the process, yeah? There are three processes. You get a third of the members of parliament signatures, wale ambao wana vote yes to pass a motion of impeachment for you. Unapelekwa pale. The second nini is unapata 2/3 votes in the National Assembly where wanasema okay, let us forward this to the Senate. Aya, then there is a series of exchange where unarudi unajitetea, yeah, with your evidence hapo if at the National Assembly, something that will happen this Friday, yeah. Then there is now that where tunapeleka Senate. If the Senate rules that you are impeached, you see, you can be impeached but not removed from office. A good example is Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza. Kawira Mwangaza is impeached by the Senate, removed from office by the Senate, but still holds the office of the governor of Meru by the directive of the Kenya High Court. So let us get the difference. There is a difference between removal and impeachment. You can stand impeached, but you've not been removed. Yeah.
And now the president is between two ties. Now it's either the president gets rid of the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, and get with the consequences, or stay in the sulking, quarrelsome relationship for 3 more years, or the president has nothing to lose, having the DP impeached early enough. What's your take on that?
Talking of the president has nothing to lose, it's actually a lie. He has got everything to lose. Everything to lose if this president is impeached. I think the problem is that, like I just said, you are just thinking within. You know, let us learn to think. If this guy says usiguze mrima, then what do you understand? How do you take it? That's the problem. They will take it as totally different. Actually, cheap politics are what is behind this. If this guy, he once came with 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling, right? I think that's not a bad thing. Take an example. People in Mount Kenya, that place is so densely populated. Go to Northeastern, it is so sparsely populated. What's the problem when I say, let's count these people from this region, let us give them this share. Let us go to the Northwestern, let us give them this share because these people are few. What's the problem in that? Actually, no problem, because we should not be treating regions equally. We should be treating Kenyans as per individual equally. Yeah, sure. I think this cheap politics, because you just here, we have not. I have not thought of it. I ran to Aduda. Do you think this thing is good? Actually, Aduda busts again. Now let's run to another person. Let us. You just run corrupting. And that's how this group comes, and we'll find, and that's how they have been able to raise 289. Remember, Mount Kenya, if not for Mount Kenya, actually Ruto would not be the president. Is that true?
Yes.
Actually, Ruto would not be the president. A very clean, pure, and a very straight fact. Ruto will not be the president. Now, what is the problem when I say, because you didn't give us your votes, obvious. If you can't give me something, when I get, I'll first start with
those who favored.
Those who favored.
That is what we call political patronage. I mean, unajua wanasema kumpa asiyekupa ni kutupa. Kumpa anayekupa, kumpa asiyekupa ni kutupa. Yeah? You give me 10 shillings, right, in my time of need. When I get 30 shillings in your time of need, I'll surely give you your 10 shilling back. Yeah? So tusiongea maneno mengi. Let us just remember that the deputy president helped the president of our republic to garner the votes that he gained from the Mount Kenya. And when we talk about giving respect to the Mulima, it is very sacred. I mean, Mount Kenya, it is one of the natural sites of Kenya, natural, yeah, that have been there from time immemorial. So usiguze mlima is just a phrase that is used to say, don't mess with the people from the mountain, because people from the mountain are very loyal, and if you start to being dishonest and disloyal to them, then the same will happen to you. Political patronage is something that has been there.
So, but the living question is, after the impeachment of the DP, what are the after effects to the president politically? Because now we know that he will vie for his second term.
Well, that is a question actually. You see, you know, our Kenyan constitution, when it was being drafted from article 145, where tunaona the deputy president akisaka kukuwa impeached, inapatiana deputy president vizuri. See, the deputy president can be summoned to court, to the court, yeah, where his impeachment motion can be tabled. But you see, the president can never be, he has what you call some sort of protection from the constitution. You cannot summon the president to court. You cannot summon a member of parliament to court for what he discussed is discussed on the floor of the parliament. No, akikuwa nje sawa, but when he is in the floor of parliament, you can never summon them. There's that sort of protection. So the aftermath itakuwa ni one, what we know is that there is a demand that hata kama Rigathi Gachagua atatolewa, there is a demand that the next deputy president should come from the mountain. That is also politics ambayo ni ndefu sana, because we have key figures, the Linturis, yeah, you know, there is a Kithure Kindiki, and there's Ndindi Nyoro, and there's hiyo siasa yote, siasa Murang'a, Nyeri, all those sides from the leeward and the windward side of the mountain, watu wote wanataka kukua included in the government.
So you have seen Ndindi Nyoro protecting the deputy president. Now he's the side of the deputy president now.
Yeah, because he has everything to lose. I mean, Gachagua is the kingpin of the mountain. He has everything to lose. Especially, have you not seen kuna members of parliament from Nyeri, 3 actually, that they signed the motion deal, but when it came to reading their names the other day in parliament, they were excused because they said after reconsideration and thinking with the people, with our constituents, we decided that it was in our best interest and the best interest of the people of the Kikuyu nation and the people from Mount Kenya and the people from Nyeri that we do not impeach one of our own. I mean, it is our son. Jaramogi Odinga used to say Kenya is Marwa. Yeah? And when Kenya is Marwa, it means that the mountain is ours. And when the mountain is ours, we can definitely not go against our own son.
Okay, thank you. And we have seen this looming motion that will be tabled soon, that the presidential term to be agreed for 7 years. What's your take on that?
Well, that is cheap politics, actually. You see,
but it began early after the president was being sold.
But think about it. See, when we want to table a serious motion into parliament, and especially unaona kama hiyo deputy president, they gave the guy from Kibwezi. I don't know what his credentials amesomea nini. I'm not aware. Yeah, but when we want to table a serious motion, look at how the Azimio la Umoja used to do it. They give serious individuals that have gone to school, individuals that we know we have a track record for performance. Yeah, They could give Opiyo Wandayi. Opiyo Wandayi is a scholar, yeah. Is someone, yeah. They could give Babu Owino. Babu Owino is one guy who has gone to school. So we angalia hizi vitu za term limits zinapatiwa kina nani? Surely if you give say somebody like Oscar Sudi a motion like that to present, mwenyewe impeachment is a difficult word kwake kusema. Definitely this is just faulty, but it is something that we should raise our concern, because honestly that will be us breaching our constitution.
Okay,
7 years 14 years nitakuwa nimezeeka bana. Tupatie, that is what we call uwezo kwa vijana.
Okay, thank you. Now, when we bomb into education sector, the grade 9 preparation is in jeopardy just in less than 100 months to roll out. What's your take on that? Because we have not seen any progress in preparation of grade 9 student pupils.
Okay. Talking of education, here you are talking of CBC.
Eh?
You're talking of CBC.
Yeah.
There is this person who said, rather than giving me fish every day, now teach me how to keep it. Then tomorrow there'll be no need for you again spending and bringing the fish back to me. Now talking of the preparation of the grade 9, actually there was no that knowledge. Actually, the knowledge was with one person, and that person is the late. That is George. That person, if I'm sure if he would be alive and continue in this education sector, then everything to do with CBC would be a very great success. But again, this changing, so far we have had, now since CBC, we have had 3 cabinet secretaries, starting from the late, come to the former, and now the current. I think this passing the ball to everyone, I have it now, I give it to you. You don't know what to do with it. A time comes, things arise as it is normal, then give it next to the next person. I don't think it will ever go forth if it will be every time when something small arises, this docket is given to another person, or we create that knowledge that CBC is actually a great thing. Maybe just its implementation be a problem, but it's actually a great thing because time will come when there will be no need of polytechnics, right?
Yeah, sure.
But our main concern is preparation for grade 9. And recently, the nationwide assessment conducted by the Ministry of Education reveals that there is a shortfall of over 16,000 classes. And in the last assessment, when the CS of Education, Julius Magamu, met the education committee in the parliament, he said that, okay, the country has secured the funding of 11,000 classrooms from the World Bank, right? And the first phase, around 35,000 classes will be constructed, and the second phase, the 7,500 classes will be constructed, and this should be completed by December. Is that possible? Because we have less than 3 months.
Na sasa unajua hii kitu tukiwaambia mnakataa kusikia. Tuliwaambia mkubali finance bill, mkakataa kusikia. Now look at it. Look at it. I want you to see. In education there was the finance bill, right? The finance bill ilikuwa imecover that part. The other day when I was listening to the permanent secretary for education Bilia Kipsang akiongea, he was saying that the capitation that wanapatia shule, as per now, they'll be deducting 3,000 shillings to ensure there is furnishing of the classrooms. There are projects that are underway still. 11,000 classrooms are still there. Yeah, by December it should be done. Because honestly, tenders zikipatiwa, and you see, this is different from the national, from the how tenders are given at the national level. Pesa zinapatiana kwa individual schools, shule zinatafuta watu watenda hapo hivyo around. So it is something that it can work, and the preparation is something that is there. Wanaelekea kufanya mtihani yao. So let us just be rational. Let us just accept that it is something that is there, because when we want to change our education system saa hii, tutakuwa tumepoteza hawa watoto wetu. So let us just accept and let us chip in where necessary tusaidia watoto wetu.
Yeah, I think chipping in is not a problem, because do you know with CBC there will be nothing like bright students go to Mangu, bright students go to Starehe, I don't know big schools. It will be where you feel your child fits, then take him or her there. So I think something like infrastructure, yes, could be a problem, but let's give these officials time. Let us give them this humble time, because no one can work. Even if you can do something at your best, you cannot work where the boss is every time telling you, go fast, do these things. I think because we are the bosses of the government, they are doing it for us. So I think we should give them this humble time and let them do it to their perfection.
Okay, thank you. The national government was actually funded to build the 11 classroom. Now, after the 11,000 classrooms are constructed, now the schools will be again struggling with a deficit of 5,000 classrooms. And according to the plans of the Ministry of Education, these 5,000 classrooms will be funded by NGCDF, right? And there's some delays and there's hiccups in the NGCDF. Will this be possible?
Yes, well, I think, see, resources in Kenya, the problem in Kenya is that everybody wants to be seen to be doing the good thing. Look at our son Monara Kebaso, look at Kasnol Makaure. These are people, tunajua intentions zao. These are people that are there. They gain our trust. Wakifika pale, nyani ni wale misitu ndio badilika. Yeah, times are the ones that change, but human personality is just the same. That is one. Number two, don't you think, back then I used to see where I used to school. Wakati ule, they used to start, kuna darasa zilijengwa, yeah, at high school levels. So I think they should be allowed to continue at the high school level, because there are classrooms that are there that are not used. These days, we are seeing that they are being transformed into stores, yeah, just to store goods, and also other state students are using them for drama, arts, which is very okay. But you see, let them serve the initial purposes that were given to them. So instead of these students being left at a primary school level and increasing, the population and increasing the budget of the school and the government, let them transform and move into high secondary schools, yeah, senior secondary schools, because there are classes that were there already across the country. So I think that is what we will cover for them. But if we want to discuss NGCDF, these members of parliament are very adamantly determined to make sure that NGCDF haiwatokee, because kuna vile ambao wana benefit hapo. Yeah.
I think talking of NGCDF, actually, I don't think them without the higher levels of the government being in it to actually take place. Talking of me as where I'm coming from, taking an example of my own Ugunja. Ugunja, actually, as for now, we are lacking we are lacking the MP. We do not have an MP at Ugunja. That is one. Without the MP, who will sign? You see. So I think it will just come from above, without, or even if they involve the NGCDF, then let it not be that they are fully reliant on them.
Okay, thank you for your time. The time has run out, and we thank you for discussing the current affairs of this nation. Viewers, thank you for watching, and it has been Political Sky with I, presenter Sami Otieno, and we have
it's Rafaduga.
Or not Trevor.
Thank you. See you next time. Remember to follow us on various social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at LivePeak TV. See you next time at the same place at the same hour. Thank you.